Got a nice band there. They're all individual musicians, you know. It's just when they play together, it's such a bloody row.
Let's talk about, instead of one-liners, let's talk about you fairly seriously, Mr. Dawson, as a comedian. Because it always strikes me when I watch you on television, or in fact do a club, that one of the things about your style is this kind of aggression with the audience. I mean, you're capable of giving it at them. Bonk. And I wonder where that came from.
Well, it started really, I suppose, in Hull. I was having a terrible time. I was dying everywhere in India. They were calling me the fourth prophet. And I got this booking in Hull. It was a fisherman's club, and they virtually came straight from the trawler with barbs and salt caked on their faces, with a sock full of money. They sat down and they drank to oblivion. And an act was just superfluous. They didn't need an act. And I died the death of death, night after night. Because in those days, I used to sing and play the piano and get a few laughs, particularly when I played and sang. And one terrible night, they were letting bottles go, and pennies were being thrown.
How do you mean letting bottles go?
Well, they used to shake them and take the cork off. So it was like sort of alcoholic alamein. It got to the Thursday, and I couldn't face this anymore. So I went to a pub in the land of green ginger and got stoned. And I went back and I couldn't get off the piano. So this makeshift curtain opened and I was on this podium. And I couldn't get off the piano. So I said, it's a great pleasure for me to be in this superbly decorated kipper factory, which they just spent 20,000 quid on. And suddenly I was getting laughs.
Yes.
Oddly enough, I seem to have found a style.
Yes.
Which I'd never had before, you know.
Yes.
So time went on and I sort of started to develop this style.
Yes. It is partly aggressive, isn't it? It's sort of going back.
Yeah, but it's also a defence mechanism as well, you know. Aggression is the best, form of defence, I suppose, in one respect. That's it. Because there are some tough audiences up there, you know.
Oh, my word, there are.
I mean, there's some, you know yourself, in Barnsley. I mean, if they like your act up there, they don't clap, they let you live. You're working well. Move your legs so they know you've been on.
Listen, but after you did this, you started this style in Hull. You, in fact, did a lot of other jobs, didn't you, before you made it big? What do you remember most vividly?
I was a vacuum cleaner salesman. And a woman called me in, because I looked so pathetic at the door, and I had a suit that was so shiny, I used to clean it in mirror gloss. I took the vacuum cleaner, and she was in a hurry. And I was trying to show the method where this cleaner worked with the agitator underneath. And my tie got caught in it. So while I'm choking to death near the spin dryer, she's wanting to get to the shops. And it was only inadvertently by threshing my legs about to try and get air, so I managed to cut the switch off. And when I was still there, she said, "You're not much bloody good, are you?" Just crawling on the garden gate.
Terrible, terrible job.
And then I got a job with a company that made plastics. And this was terrible. I could never understand the enthusiasm for plastics. And I couldn't sell it. Until one day I got a letter from a bloke in Kendal. And through the letter, he said he'd like to see me, to make an appointment. And he was very interested in the product we made, and I was really thrilled to bits, you know. I said to the wife, I said, at last I made your breakthrough. We're going to be a two-loaf family, you know. Marvellous. At least I've got an order. So I phoned him up, he said, come up. He said, bring your stuff up. Bring it up. So I stood there and I got to the place. It took me about 3 hours to do a blizzard, you know. It was so wet they were having lifeboat drill on the buses. Eventually gets there, and I opened my bag of tricks in the shop, and he said, I know what I want. Them tea strainers. Now, they were 1 and 3 a dozen. I didn't quail. I thought, well, if he buys 3 or 4 gross, it's not too bad. So I said, certainly. So I opened him. I said, how many do you want? He said, 3. I argued all night to sell him a dozen. He wanted 3. So I put the order into the company, and they sent me this beautiful letter back. And it said, Dear Mr. Dawson, read your esteemed order. May I say that the company is now working overtime to fulfill this most valued order. And at the same time, the cards came.
That's very sad, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's the story of my life.
It is sad, yes. You also, it can't have been too sad, because I read somewhere that you once played in a French brothel. You played piano in a French brothel, is that right?
Yeah. It wasn't a lot of money, but there was plenty of perks. No. What happened was I was over there trying to be a writer, would you believe? Because I was full of these daft ideas, and I firmly believe that you must gravitate towards Paris if you want to be a writer, which is the worst place in the world, you know. And I was living pretty rough, you know. It wasn't the place I had was dreadful. I had a little room. It was so small when I turned the lights on, I was in bed before it was dark. You know, I used to get bed breakfast and cramp pills. But the landlady kept a good table. There was nothing on it, but it was a bloody good table. And to make ends meet, which, well, I had to do, I started to play the piano. Well, you know, I studied under Gladys Mills, but she got too heavy. So I started playing the piano in this place, and I thought I was doing great. And then I found out that it was to get rid of the customers.
Really? You played them out, did you?
Yes, to try and break the rhythm. That was basically the rhythm.
It's something, of course, you shared in common with another great comedian, W.C. Fields, because he played piano in a Pittsburgh brothel, didn't he?
That's correct, yeah.
And I happen to know that, I mean, you're a fan of his, aren't you?
Oh, I always have been, yeah. To me, he was the greatest. Not because of what he said, but how he said it. He said, love the place. Love the place. And to me, he comes out with the most immortal line I've ever heard. It was virtually a deathbed soliloquy, because a fortnight later he died, but he was in bed. You know, he was a great drinker. He didn't have a navel, he had a plimsoll line. And he was laying in bed and he's reading the Bible, and this producer came in and he said, Bill Fields, you of all people reading the Bible. He said, I'm looking for a loophole. Not bad.
That's a great line. Yeah, extraordinary quality.
Well, exactly.
Incredible style. What about the? I mean, you're very much in the great line and tradition of the North Country comedians, aren't you? Mm. Two things here. Who's the one that you personally admire most of all?
Rob Wilton.
Rob Wilton. That's interesting. Why?
Well, I think, again, because he was based... I think one of the things that makes humour in the North, and this isn't having to go at the Southern audiences particularly, but it was based on adversity more than anything else. Mm. Where in the South in those days, it was never really as bad as the North. No. And people like Rob Wilton and all the other great comics were steeped in this. And there was a great warmth and depth. I mean, one of his lovely things was he said, things were very bad, he said. And a friend of mine said, let's buy a greyhound and win a few bob at White City. So we bought a greyhound called Flash. I wouldn't say it was slow, but on its first race, the hair bit its leg. So I said to this friend of mine, I said, this is ridiculous. It's costing a fortune in fodder. It's not about his mother, but it's fodder. He said, let's get rid of it. He said, my pal said, you're quite right. He said, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll throw it in the canal. Oh, I said, there's no need to do that. Let's just run away from it.
Beautifully. No.
And that's the sort of humour that transcends the so-called generation gap. It's a funny remark with a lot of heart in it.
And humour out of adversity.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you didn't laugh, you went under, I suppose.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Jewish race, anybody, any sort of ethnic group that's ever been persecuted.
Yes.
I mean, I do a lot for the poor, you know, the wife, the mother-in-law, the rest of it. You're nice when you smile, aren't you?
What's your mother-in-law? I mean, you've got a mother-in-law, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. She's very nice, actually. She's very nice. She's got a face like a bag of spanners. She once went for a swim in Loch Ness and the monster got out and picked it in the lake.
What does she think, though, about you? I mean, does she think you're a loving son-in-law?
Oh, really? Very well together. When we stay at her house, you know, which is decorated in early Dracula, she knows that I am personally very fond of pets. And you can bet your life when I go to bed of a night, there's always a black widow spider in the corner. She's a very big woman, you know. She has her knickers on a prescription.
Be serious. It's daft. It is daft. It's lovely. That was old. Who was that? That was old Norman.
Norman Evans.
Norman Evans.
You see, one of the beautiful things about on the last series we introduced these two old women in a laundrette. But it is something peculiar to Lancashire, the fact that when two women talk, particularly that age group, if there's anything at all which they consider risque or something comparable to the female body, they never finish the sentence. It's superbly true. So you'll get it. So how's things? I believe she's near a time. Oh, yeah. I believe she's had a... And they never finished the sentence. It was really most peculiar, you know, and they used to get things mixed up. I may quote one thing that Peter Maloney from Liverpool.
Oh, he's a funny man.
Very true. About the woman in hospital, and the chap said, "How are you?" She said, "I've been very ill, you know." She said, "It's my time of life, I don't know." She said, "It's a very serious operation. It's called an hysterical rectum." Beautiful.
It does you good to have a laugh. Anyone for going?
I like a bit of the old Hey, very good, mate.
The reason why you make me laugh so much, you see, is because when I
paid.
No, but because it goes right back to my youth when, you know, Mum and Dad used to take me to pantomime. I told to Twiggy about it, and Norman Evans and Nat Jackley. Do you remember?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it used to slay me, and that great line of North Country humour, which, I mean, you're either plugged into or you're not, actually.
Well, you see, exactly, this is the point. But I think one of the nice things is because of television that this ridiculous differential between the North and the South has now gone.
Yes.
I mean, the people down here at the North, it's just the same thing. There's nothing different. It's just that in the North you used to have some peculiar sayings. If I dare quote this, but there was an old farmer, he said to me, "As you hear this laying up Chadcastle," he said, "the coaching couples are always at it." He said, "I caught a couple the other day, they were going at it like a frog up a pump." But it's descriptive. A lovely descriptive feel.
There can be only one possible virtue of that story, let's tell you, if it's true.
I promise you,
It's a quote.
I do promise.
You've done some work recently in Germany, haven't you?
Oh.
Did you have to learn German for it, or?
Yeah, I tried.
You tried?
Yeah.
But how do you get the gags over it?
Well, this was the difficult part of it, because when we got there, the fortnight before the show was actually due to go, two of us went to try and suss the scene out to see what they wanted. And the German mentality is something I'd never previously come across, because it's all, you know, faces really like flint. You know, you've noticed it, they're really hard, unyielding. So they had a girl there with braided hair, you know, who looked a bit like Danny LaRue. Awful. And she sat there and she said, "You tell me what you are going to do, which is funny, and I will tell all my colleagues around the table." So in this atmosphere, I said, "Well, the first thing we'd like to do is there is a man sweeping the street." She said, "A man in Straßen fighting with the broom." Yo. I said, "He looks one way," and this is what broke me. She said, "Man looks einfach." Which is German for one way.
Right.
And I said, "He then looks the other way." She said, "Einfach, um die Straße." I said, "He then lifts up the pavement and brushes the dirt underneath it." And there was a silence like a forgotten tomb. And she said, "I think I should tell you that in Germany, the pavements don't lift up." Frightening, really was frightening.
How did you survive it? Only just?
Yeah, we got through, actually. In fact, considered a mountainous area, they call me that, you know, they're named after a mountain flower over there, the Adelswine. No, it went quite well, but they put a top course on the Berlin Wall after that. It really was frightening, it really was.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to tell a joke about the mother-in-law's brassiere, but I do a joke, you know, I say, I'm not saying she's a big woman, but she hangs a brassiere up to dry, a camel makes love to it. In German, this comes out like Die Schweiz muss das Busten halten, mit der Haaren mit der Ölfänzen betannt. And by the time you've said it, you've forgotten the bloody thing. Don't you?
I mean, people must always ask you this question, but it's one that interests me particularly about you. I mean, how do you see the function of humour, Les? I mean, what is it? What's the comedian about?
I don't know. There's been many. I mean, one of the terrifying things about this subject is, quite honestly, that how can you analyse what is funny? I mean, you've got a big audience here of 200, 300 people. What is funny to one isn't funny to another, because it's the reverse side of tragedy. If something happens to you personally, it is tragic to you. Other people will sympathise, but it's your problem. The same with humour. What is funny to you is a personal thing.
Yes.
And this is one of the things that most comics do get sad about, is when you get critics who will virtually axe a programme only because of what they believe.
Yes.
I think it's pretty terrible when the public themselves can't make their minds up. You know, you get a critic in the paper the day after the show's gone out.
Yes.
Surely the public can make their own mind up. No comic can please everybody. You know, and I get upset when I get some of the knocking letters, you know, terrible letters you get.
Yes.
And I think, well, why? Because the greatest crime you're convicted of is trying to make people laugh. And in this day and age, we're very short of it.
That's absolutely true.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And does it get more and more difficult the more desperate the situation becomes to make people laugh?
Well, this is where I think the odd thing is, because I think the great days of the music hall, and certainly the great days of Rob Wilton, the comics, flourished when there was a recession. Because I think, in a way, although it sounds, I'm probably get thousands of letters over this, if we have to tighten our belts in this country economically, it might be the best thing in the world to bring us together again. Because there was a day when people were a community. All of a sudden, if you put economics there, you shut that front door with your colour set, your big car and drive, and you're not a community anymore. You're vying with next door. And I think it would be nice if we start saying, right, we've got a problem, let's work on it. And I think that this is where comedy is so essential to have.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you look at some of these trade union leaders, I mean, look at have you seen them? Conversation? We want more. Not an ounce of humour with them. You know, I think we're desperately short of this, I really do.
Well, so long as you're around, mate, I, for one, will be never short of a laugh, that is for sure.
Where's the cheque? Where's the cheque?
It's in the post. Les Dawson, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, mate.